Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Randall. This is the McClures. We react, review, look at, make fun of stuff. Today we're going to be checking out Fox and Friends first. Peter Doocy presses Karine Jean-Pierre on Biden's anti-GOP remarks. So basically we're going to listen to this lying mother effer spew some more BS out her face hole. Let's take a look. Channel is sponsored by McClures.store. If you want to help support me or my family and other Americans buying American products, McClures.store. Let's get into it.
Meanwhile, President Biden also holding an event to brag about his administration's progress creating jobs and combating inflation.
We've already created, as I said, 700,000 new manufacturing jobs. This is the first time we have high-paying jobs and not enough people to do them. Nice.
Is that right? Are you kidding me?
Thing, isn't it?
Geriatric.
It's a nice problem to have, but guess what? Inflation is still hurting people.
Oh, is
We're
it?
making real progress. We're reasserting ourselves as a nation.
But the president's pat on the back comes the same day the Federal Reserve hiked interest rates yet again. Yesterday saw the fourth increase of 75 basis points this year and the sixth increase since March as the Fed scrambles to stem soaring inflation. Stocks yesterday feeling the immediate impact of that rate hike as the Dow plummets over 500 points. Not what you want to see on your Wednesday.
It was weird. They originally liked it, and then the markets really did not like it. With that, let's bring in Corey Mills, Florida congressional candidate and former DOD advisor under President Trump. Focusing on the speech, didn't that speech literally do more to hurt Democrats? Because, like we've been saying for the first 5 minutes here, it really showed that Joe Biden and the Democrats have been focusing on the completely wrong things, not what the American people care about. Instead of focusing on the economy, crime, the things that are worrying Americans, they're still focusing on January 6th.
That's exactly right, Todd. And again, thanks for having me on. The Democrats do not want.
Bro, can we talk about this guy's goatee for a second here? How long did this shit take, bro? That's like the tiniest area right here. And he got it like perfectly. Oh, you were in front of the mirror way too long, bro.
Want to go by their failed policies. They don't want to talk about the
soft on
crime, the no bail reform, the open borders that's led to a record high, the 40-year high inflation, the increase in CPI, the question of whether or not average Americans can say to themselves, well, do I fill up my gas tank or do I fill up my grocery cart? You know, these are things that the Biden administration and the Democrats continue to try and run away from, and they want to try and tie parallel.
What do you mean? We're not doing either. We're getting half of both.
Well, so they try and think will help them in their narrative, whether that be the incident that occurred with Paul Pelosi or whether that be the January 6th incidents. They want to try and utilize that as a scapegoat to run away from the fact that economically and from an income perspective and from a criminality perspective, their policies have failed.
Yeah, that's right. You know, the news peg for this speech was Paul Pelosi's attack, and he tried to tie it to January 6th. And on the very same night, General Don Bullock out in New Hampshire, who we're going to be interviewing later in the show, was also almost attacked right before his debate. So you can go back and forth with this political violence. All of it's bad. None of it's good. But then there's also this.
There's only one side of the fence who's actively campaigning to bail criminals out of jail after they do the violence. So let's go ahead and call those people the violent ones, since they like it.
This exchange between Peter Doocy and Karine Jean-Pierre, where Peter Doocy asked her what the president might be thinking when he says that people are voting for Republicans and tying that to threats to democracy. Listen to this.
Following up on your comment that there's an alarming number of Republicans who are saying they're not going to accept election results, does that mean President Biden thinks it is a threat to democracy if somebody votes Republican?
No, that's a ridiculous question. No.
Why is that a ridiculous question?
Because American people should have their right to vote for whomever they want. We are talking about MAGA Republican officials.
Did she just say MAGA or MAGA? Either way, it's funny.
Who have been very clear about this, who say, you know, they are pro-police, but then they are also pro-insurrectionists.
Yeah. Do you think it's a ridiculous?
Did any of us say we're pro-insurrectionist? What? First off, there was no insurrection. No one tried to take over the government. What the fuck are you talking about?
Ridiculous question, Corey. I mean, it sounds a lot like that was the argument the president was making last night. If you democratically cast your vote for Republicans, you're voting to end democracy.
That's exactly what he said.
That's exactly the case, right? So when it comes to Biden administration, like he actually even said himself, if you voted for Republicans, then you're not black. When he talked about minorities, when he talks about, violence against Paul Pelosi, was to try and tie that to Republicans, even though that individual who was accused of this, or the assailant, was a known hippie and kind of nudist that was there in San Francisco. Where were the same left whenever the incident occurred on Whip Steve Scalise by a, supporter of the left who nearly killed him on the softball field? Where were they when it was Maxine Waters and Cory Booker and even Nancy Pelosi, who was trying to instigate and trying to advocate?
Well, honestly, I don't want to hear the rest of this guy. I just wanted to hear Peter Doocy, and it doesn't look like they're going to go back to it. Let me jump forward and see if they do. So they're not going back to Peter Doocy. That's what we wanted to check out. But, yeah, there it is. Karine Jean-Pierre lying out of her face hole on a daily basis, trying to cover up for this geriatric retard who waddles on stage every day and just blabbles about he doesn't even know what. And then, Peter's got to go, well, Biden said this yesterday. Well, what does that mean? Well, that's just a ridiculous question. No, it was a ridiculous statement by a ridiculous person. So can we get an answer that's not ridiculous? All right, guys, this was a quick one. Appreciate you stopping by the channel. McCluers.store is where you can support me and other Americans buying quality American products. McCluers.store. Take care.